तीनचीच वेळ दिलेली आहे, त्याच्यामुळे त्यांना
तीनचीच
खूप
आहे,
त्रास आहे.
तीनचीच आहे.
जी मैम,
तीन
हमें
ते
3 से
चारच आहे.
करना है, 5:30
So
बजे तक।
let's wait in this meeting only. They will join.
हाँ,
थांब रेणुका, राजेश सर काहीतरी बोलतात. हा बोला सर, बोलिए
ओके
सर.
सर, मैम हमें 5:30 या 6:45 मैक्सिमम इसको समाप्त करना है।
हाँ हाँ.
और 6 बजे से बड़ा कार्यक्रम इस और प्लेटफॉर्म पे है, दूसरे स्टेट में, दिल्ली स्टेट से।
अच्छा, ओके ओके.
जी
तो अभी हमारा ये 3 बजे का ही है, तो मैं सूरज पंडित सर को एक बार फोन करती हूँ ताकि वो भी जुड़ जाए और आगे का सेशन शुरू हो जाए. ओके. हेलो, हाँ सर, अभी ज्वाइन हो रहे हैं सूरज पंडित सर। तर बाळासाहेब वाघ आणि सलील सावलकर, यह दो हमारे प्रस्तुत करता है शोध पत्र के। तो उन्हें ऐसी ये की जाती है, विनती की जाती है कि वो थोड़ा जल्दी समाप्त करे, क्योंकि सर को कोई तो भी अर्जेंट मीटिंग आई है। तो उसके कारण 15 या 20 मिनट के अंदर ही वो अपना समापन करे प्रस्तुति का। तो उन्हें भी दूसरी मीटिंग में जाने के लिए पॉसिबिलिटी हो सकती है। ओके, वो ज्वाइन हो गए हैं सूरज पंडित सर। सूरज पंडित सर,
येस
आवाज
मॅडम.
येतोय? ओके, चला मैथिली सुरुवात करू शकतेस.
धन्यवादः महोदय. नमः विद्वत्सभायै. नमः विद्वत्सभायै. इदानीम् अस्माकं सभायाः तृतीयं तथा च अन्तिमं सत्रं प्रारभ्यते. डॉक्टर सूरजपण्डितमहोदयः अस्य सत्रस्य अध्यक्षपदं भूषयति. मत्कृते अतीव सन्तोषजनकमिदं यत् तस्य परिचयं कारयितुम् उपस्थिता अस्मि. Dr. Suraj Pandit is Professor of Ancient Indian Culture and Head of the Department of Buddhist Studies, Satya College, Mumbai. Also, he is presently the Vice Principal of Satya College, which is autonomous college at Mumbai. He completed his doctoral thesis on Kanheri Caves under the guidance of Dr. A.P. Jamkhedkar from Mumbai University. He has completed various national and international research projects, primarily on archaeological and heritage sites in Konkan like Sopara, Kalyan, Chaul, and Mumbai. Because of his research on Mumbai, he has been invited to contribute a chapter by editorial team in publication entitled Architecture, Monuments, and Urbanism on Silk Roads, published by UNESCO. He has worked as the consultant to Government of India, Government of Orissa, Government of Maharashtra for sites like Ajanta, Shishupalgarh, Bodh Gaya, etc. He has authored 10 books and more than 90 research papers are published on his name. His core area of research are art history, urban archaeology, heritage tourism, and Buddhist studies. He is a managing committee member and in charge director of Dr. Mahamahopadhyay P.V. Kane Research Institute at Asiatic Society of Mumbai. And presently, he is also guiding the doctoral students there. May I request Dr. Pandit for his valuable guidance. Over to you, sir.
Thank you for introducing me in such a elaborate way. I feel honored. I'm thankful to Sanskrit Department and the joint organizers of the conference. Without wasting much time, I request paper presenters to begin their presentations. And as in the beginning, Madam has said, if we can restrict our presentations to 15 minutes, it would be good. So please, we can start with the presentations. The first presenter can start the presenting.
धन्यवादः महोदय. तथा अस्माकम् अत्र प्रथमः वक्ता अस्ति श्रीमान् बाळासाहेब वाघ महोदय. तस्य विषये किञ्चित् वदामि. Mr. Balasaheb Wagh is working as an assistant professor at KJ Somaiya Institute of Dharma Studies, Somaiya Vidyavihar University, Mumbai since 2016. He works as an assistant controller of examination as an additional charge from November 2021. He worked as an in-charge examination cell from August 19 to October 21. He completed his B.Ed and MPhil after completing the Masters in Sanskrit in the specialization of Vyakarana and completed the research work on Akruti Ganapatha in the Paniniya grammar. He is the PhD scholar at Department of Sanskrit, University of Mumbai. He also learned the Prakrut grammar from BL Institute of Indology, Delhi, and received the Deven Jain Foundation Award for the first rank in the same. He took the initiative to establish the Yoga Vijnana Jnana Mandal of Marathi Vishwakosha Nirmiti Mandal, Government of India, and worked as coordinator from 2017 to 2018. He is also working as a visiting faculty at the University of Mumbai. I now invite Mr. Wag to present his paper. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, madam. So, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you, madam. Before going to start my paper, I just thanks to organizers, Department of Sanskrit, University of Mumbai, and Global Sanskrit Forum, Maharashtra Pranta, my gurus, Dr. Tasne madam, Dr. Madhavi madam, and Dr. Shakuntala madam for giving me this opportunity. Today, I will present the research topic on the combination of Tamra as an efficient water purification system, an ancient science-based approach. Actually, the antimicrobial properties of copper and its alloys were well recognized and used in ancient India to store drinking water and to preserve food. Ancient Ayurvedic texts such as Charaka Samhita mention the use of copper in the ancient medical application. Recent research studies provided conclusive evidence for the antimicrobial activity with water treatment ability of copper and its alloys. The objective of this study was to investigate the effect of different types of water on the antibacterial activity of copper. Storing water in copper containers has been shown to leach trace amount of copper ion from the in the range of 2 or 4 part per million were determined using colorimetric method in the study from various water samples like well water, tap water, groundwater, bottled mineral water, purified water, stored in copper containers for 36 hours. Then we tested the antibacterial activity has been found enhanced in the water samples collected from well, ground and tap water compared to that of the other water samples. And we studied the E. coli bacteria colony reduction was observed using well in ground and tap water. So this is the attempt we want to test our ancient Indian sciences with the modern science. So I'll present my paper. So in this, before the introduction, the literature review and objective of this research paper, experiment setup, detection of copper ions in water, biological studies, and this research study implication. So this is the flow of the presentation. Many times we say, and this today's theme also, Sanskrit is the backbone of the Indian knowledge system. So just we took one topic like copper and we tested that copper Indian knowledge systems were mentioned in the text, its usage, medical usage, and that we extracted from that text and we tested that particular topic with the copper metal has been tested for water purification with the interdisciplinary research, Sanskrit literature, chemistry, and biology with my colleagues. So Tamra is one among the listed 7 metals of antiquity used by human beings in the various settings in the prehistoric times. Then the Ayurvedic compounds formulation based on Rasaushadhi employs Tamra to cure various diseases such as Krimi, Pandu, Kushta, Shwasa, Amla Pitta, etc. Copper also found applications as an antimicrobial agent in water purification. Ancient Indian culture used copper utensils to store drinking water due to its antimicrobial properties. Next. Yeah. Yes, so this is the reference from the Sushruta Samhita, where they mention the copper vessels for storing the water and to drink the water, and it is safe for the human being, and it is medicinal usage also they explain. So I cannot read this text from the Sanskrit text. And there are many other than Sushruta Samhita. Bhavaprakash Nigantu is there, Kayyadeva Nigantu, Raja Nigantu, Dhanvantari Nigantu, Priya Nigantu, where all the properties were mentioned, and the copper's antibacterial evidence also they have given. So these are the Sanskrit evidence of the copper usage. Then the first research means as a antimicrobial agent tested in 2008 by the Environmental Protection Agency of United States, and thereafter many studies on antimicrobial contact killing properties of metal copper happened. Nowadays in hospitals, surface coated with the metallic copper or copper based alloys, because they use to limit the transmission of pathogens. For example, CO reported 99.99% reduction of bacterial colonies. So we tested one E. coli bacteria. Yes. So this is the literature. This is the research which was done by various scholars on the various aspects like therapeutic aspect, then the antibacterial performance of the copper. So these are the various papers on the copper. Then these are only one topic we selected, that is the drinking water, storing the drinking water in the copper vessel. That one aspect we choose, not the bacterial. So to this presentation, first in the storing of the water and the testing of the antibacterial study of the water stored in the copper pot. So these are some research happened, and the observation that we got that they used the various pots or various metals and they tested. Here what we did, we took only one metal like the copper, and the source of water we selected differently. Like the previous research in the area of copper-based water purification methods showed that water stored in the copper containers kill diseases causing bacteria as compared to that of the water stored in the plastic, glass, and steel containers. These studies showed copper is very effective in water purification and disinfection. All these studies focused only the role of various containers and the importance of copper. However, the influence of different source of water and the water type, acidic, neutral, and basic. So we took the from the various sources like the tap water, groundwater, well water, and we are using the RO water. So that we took, and the famous one, that is Bisleri water also. So we check the antimicrobial activity of copper. So as per the UNESCO, due to increasing population, what is the objective of this research? That is the demand for clean drinking water is one of the major properties or priorities in the today's world. So approximately 1 billion people lack access to clean and safe drinking water as per the WHO and UNICEF report. So more than 3.5 million people succumbing to death each year due to contaminated water related diseases. So WHO in 2022 reported that water sanitation and hygiene is critical to prevent pandemics. So providing clean drinking water using easily available and cost effective method to the impoverished villages or communities is the utmost priority. So that is the main objective to test this. And our hypothesis was the concentration and action of copper ions present in the water stored in the copper containers can vary depending on the source and type of water. For instance, groundwater and well water have more concentration of salts compared to that of the purified water contained from the water purifying units like RO. Similarly, the pH level of the water can also vary depending on the source of water. So different water source like tap water, groundwater, well water, and water type can increase or decrease the antimicrobial activity of copper. So this is the experiment design. So these are the various sources we use. The 5 sources: tap water, groundwater, well water, and RO water that we used in our colleges and schools, and the Bisleri water. So the experiment setup was, in the first step, what we did, allowed to store the water in copper and plastic container. So we stored 34 hours in the copper container. And another step is detection of copper ions using the chemical methods. So this is the Aquasol kit of the measuring the copper in the water. So this is the copper kit for detection of the copper in the water samples. You can see the color gradient of yellowish, where you can see the 0.025 ppm. So as per the extraction of the copper from the vessel, because we stored 24 hours, 34 hours in the copper containers, and as per the source of water, they extracted the copper. So then the second, so we got the first result as per the storing the water, and the second result was we tested that particular water with the antibacterial studies. So we used E. coli culture. So E. coli is the bacteria which was when it comes in our stomach by water, so it will affect our body. So like the watery diarrhea, low fever, vomiting. So this type of infection, this type of symptoms, if we see in our body, so that is the E. coli infection. So what we did, after 36 hours storing in the plastic bottles, because there is no any metal. So plastic don't have any metal. So you can see the picture of the water. It is clear in all 5 containers, from the groundwater, well water, Somya water, Bisleri water, and tap water. There is no any color. And you can see this in the slide, detection of copper ions in water after 36 hours storing in the copper glasses. So you can see groundwater analysis shows turbid, including, you can see the 4 remaining, they are compared to groundwater, they are clear, but they are having some amount of copper. They extracted the copper from that particular container. So groundwater is more contained of the copper. So groundwater, well water, Somya water, Bisleri water, and tap water. So the turbid solution indicating the formation of copper carbonate due to the presence of carbonate anions present in the water after 36 hours storing in the copper glasses. So this is the observation. The pH level of the water is same, only the black water is 8.5 and the remaining are nearby 7. The TDS also you can see the 405 of the groundwater, and the well water is the 174, and the amount of copper in the 5th column 0.25 ppm. So parts per millennium. According to the WHO, every day we can consume 0.2 ppm. This is the permissible level of copper in drinking water. So you can, the intake of the copper is permissible is only 2 ppm. So after 36 hours storing in the copper containers, 0.25 ppm copper extracted in the water. So it is permissible level. So clearly shows the leaching copper ions, if we see, into the water samples after storing the water for 36 hours in the copper glasses. Then the second step of our study was we have to check the antibacterial study. So we used E. coli bacteria, and we did the cultural study with our chemistry professor and biology professor. So we
Shamyam
stored,
Mahodaya.
yes.
Shamyam Mahodaya.
Huh.
I'm sorry to interrupt you in between, but we have a little constraint of time, so please.
Yes. Within 5 to 7 minutes, I conclude
Thank
this.
you.
So these are the various sources. You can see this. I'll show. Yeah. So here, in the beginning, we added the bacteria E. coli, and after 36 hours, you can see the reduction in the antibacterial colonies. So 91% we found in the well water. These are the E. coli bacteria. Here, very clear we can see reduction in the colonies of the E. coli, 100% reducted. In the tap water also, we got the result that that particular bacteria is reduction in bacterial colonies, 100% result we got. In the RO water, means Somaya water means RO water, we use the purification unit. Here only the 65.47% reduction we found. And in the black water, that alkaline water, there is also the 46.67% only we found a reduction in the bacteria colony. So this is the tap water and well water provided superior results with 100% reduction in the bacterial colony, and groundwater showed 91% antibacterial activity. So excellent antibacterial activity observed in the tap water, well water, and groundwater. And this result indicates the activity of copper can be influenced by the source of water. So as there can be more sulfate and carbonate anions present in the tap water, well water, and groundwater compared to that of the purified water or alkaline water, these anions can be bind to copper to have a positive effect in the antibacterial study. So this research study implication is that majority of the rural population in India and other countries still rely on ground, well, and tap water. Our research provides conclusive evidence for the disinfection of this water. It's stored in simple copper containers. Copper's natural antimicrobial properties reduce the need for synthetic chemicals in water purification, leading to more eco-friendly process. By minimizing the use of chemicals, copper-based water purification can contribute to cleaner water source and reduce the environmental impact of water treatment. So we did the scientific validation of ancient Indian knowledge system for the use of copper. Thank you.
भूरि धन्यवादाः बालासाहेब महोदय। भवतः अभ्यासपूर्णः खलु निबन्धः, and the interesting part was that you actually practically carried out the experiments at your college, and that really added value to your research, I feel, because only theoretical knowledge we keep reading in the books, but then practically executing the experiment was really a value addition to your studies. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, madam.
I request Pandit sir. Pandit sir, can we keep our question and answer session after the next speaker?
Sure. Let me first appreciate Dr. Wagh's interdisciplinary approach and the efforts which he has put in. This was a really good paper, as Madam just said. So I congratulate you. And
Thank you.
Thank you. We can question answers at the end. That is.
Yes.
And may I request the next speaker to restrict the time to 15 minutes. Yeah. Thank you.
धन्यवाद सर। तर्हि अधुना अद्यतनीय सत्रस्य अन्तिमं निबन्धं प्रस्तोतुं श्रीमान् सलिल सावरकर महोदयः अत्र उपस्थितः अस्ति। तस्य परिचयं कारयामि किञ्चित्. May I now introduce our next speaker, Mr. Salil Savarkar, who has a versatile personality and masters different fields. Being a diploma holder in electrical engineering and a postgraduate in mathematics from Mumbai University, he also has immense interest in Sanskrit and Marathi. At present, he is an assistant professor in the Department of Mathematics, Srimati CHM College, Ulhasnagar, which is affiliated to Mumbai University. His inquisitiveness has also furthered his know-how in other fields like music, language, calligraphy, etc. He is a talented harmonium player and has done some composition work for TV serials, TV advertisements, and stage programs too. His curiosity to explore new fields has been instrumental in enriching his experience in various enterprises at various positions, from content writer at IMS Mumbai to subject matter expert and team lead at MRCC, which is a US-based company. He has pursued the art of writing and has given his contribution in the form of articles for some websites and for many books and famous periodicals like Samarpanam, Lokasatta, Ruperi Smarana Yatra, etc. He has contributed in entry writing for Marathi Vishwakosha. He has authored books on Indian mathematics, namely An Introduction to Bharatiya Mathematics, Aganitaच्या अंतरंगात, शुद्धलेखन मार्ग प्रदीप, translated Marathi book Kaliyuga Arambha, and has contributed as a co-author for the books Calculus 1 and Ganita Sange Pravas, and worked for a mobile app Shuddhalekhan Theva Khishat. He has narrated the autobiography of cinematographer Bal Joglekar as Ha Khel Savalyanचा. He has contributed in the Sanskrit version of a book Bhaskaracharya, written by late Professor Mohan Apte. He has read informative research papers in number of conferences. He has delivered several lectures and talks on varied subjects on various platforms related to mathematics and science, like ancient Indian mathematics, mathematics for competitive exams, and scientific temper, etc. In a nutshell, Mr. Savarkar has ever been trying to broaden his horizon in every possible way, and he tries to inculcate the same in his students too. I request Mr. Savarkar to present his paper. Over to you, sir.
Yes, thank you so much, Maithili madam. I think I am audible. And as Suraj sir has requested, I will of course try to.
Sir, can you, excuse me, sir, can you just increase your volume?
Sure, just a minute. Yeah, so is it okay now?
Yes, now. Yes.
Yeah, fine. Okay, so as I was saying, thank you so much. And of course, I will restrict myself to the time limit because there are some restrictions over there. So I understand. The topic that I have chosen for today's this particular webinar is that Sankhya Darshan in Indian mathematics. Let me just share my screen. I know that there are all Sanskrit scholars over here, and I'm sure that they all know about the Sankhya Darshana, Sankhya Darshana, but I'm going to talk about Sankhya Darshana. That is how the numbers are represented or how the numbers are written by like great mathematicians, maybe Aryabhatta or maybe Bhaskaracharya or anything. Okay. Madam, my screen is visible.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. Now, since the time is not much, there is a shortage of time. I will not take your time in talking about the decimal system and the zero, and those were the boons of or given by Hindus. Let me directly jump to something that is called as Kattapayadi system. Now, the reason for having this particular topic today is that I don't want to keep the things difficult for a person who may not have a good knowledge of mathematics. That was one thing. And second thing is that when you are reading some Sanskrit text, for example, today also we had some nice sessions by Medha madam and in Bhagyashri madam also. So they talked about geometry, they talked about the astronomy, in Indian culture. Now, when you are going through all these texts, number of times you will come across some words which may not make much sense at that time. And even if you go through different dictionaries, even the dictionaries also may not say anything over there, because those are actually coined words by those authors, or maybe those were the words coined in those particular traditions, and they actually refer to different numbers. So for example, so the idea was this, that many of these numbers, or many times those numbers were written in a crypted manner, or there was some kind of coding given over there. So unless we know the code, it becomes very difficult to understand what actually the author is trying to say. And at times we may feel that whatever is written over there is completely meaningless, because it usually doesn't make much sense to a common reader. So I decided to throw some light on these 2-3 systems. One is Katyapayadi system. The other system is developed by Aryabhata. You can see that his system was totally different. And there was third system that is called as Bhuta Sankhya Lekha. Okay. So in Katyapayadi system, what people used to do, they had such kind of coding. You can see the consonants over there, k, kh, g, gh, ch, ch, j, j, and you can see that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0. Again, if you start from t to n, then again you can see 1, 2, 0. Then from p to m, you have got 1, 2, 5. Here to h, you have got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that kind of coding was there. Now, if you see this, there should be a question, immediate question should be there, where are the vowels? Because what we are finding over here is only the consonants, the vowels are absent over here. But then vowels could be used freely in Katyapayadi system. But the question arises how to decode any particular word. So using this coding, the Bharatiya mathematicians used to write coded words for numbers. For example, if we consider the word Ram, then from the chart, if you just see the chart over here, it is clear that R means 2 and M means 5. So the word Ram, in case I am using that in some text, and suppose it is not making much sense how that Ram has come over here, then the word Ram corresponds to the number made up of 2 followed by 5. However, one point should be kept in mind, that the reading of numbers always used to be from right to left. And so Rama stands for 52 instead of 25. Now, as the vowels were not assigned any value or digit as such, even the word Rama, 2 would stand for 52. So whether it is Rama or whether it is Rama, because ultimately it is the consonant that is playing the role and not the vowels. So if Rama stands for 52, so does Rama. Now this may sound surprising, because then with this system, one can see that you can have several code words for a particular number. But then one can look, or one should look at the brighter side of this system. For example, let us consider the word 52. So what is the word for 52 in Sanskrit? I think it is Dvipanchashat. Sanskrit scholars can correct me in case I am committing any mistake, but I think it is Dvipanchashat. Now, do we observe that both Rama as well as Rama are easier than Dvipanchashat? That is the first thing. Second thing is that as the numbers would become larger and larger, their mathematical names or terms would become more and more lengthy and complicated. For example, if we consider the current year 2025, then how should I express that in Sanskrit? Maybe it is like Dvisahasradhika Dvipanchashat. But then if I apply Katyapayadi system, and if I just go through all those codes, maybe this letter for 2, that letter and something like that, then I can write the word Shura Nara for 2025 using Katyapayadi system. So instead of Dvisahasradhika Dvipanchashat, I think I can easily use the word Shura Nara. It will be really easy. And in case I am, writing some kind of cryptic verse where I'm talking about some Shura Nara, but ultimately I'm talking about 2025, it may be possible. And I think it is more apt to call this year as Shura Nara, because we have observed the valor of our military in Operation Sindoor. So I think it will be a good code for the current year 2025. Another advantage of this system is that as this system would generate several options for a number, a mathematician in those era, means all those mathematicians, they were great poets also, would wisely choose that particular word which would not only match with the meaning of the shlok, but also would satisfy the restriction of Laghu Guru Akshara or number of required matras. So in case of that 52 we were discussing, we saw that both Rama and Rama, they stand for 52. Now, if I'm writing a verse and let us suppose that I have a space for 2 letters and I want that those 2 letters should stand for 52. Now, whether should I write Rama, whether should I write Rama? Maybe suppose there is a restriction that initially there should be Guru letter, then it should be Laghu letter. Then instead of Rama, I can go for Rama. Or maybe if it is the other way around, I will drop Rama and I can go for Rama. So because of as we saw that sometimes it may sound surprising because for one number you have got several codes, but then one can see that there are so many advantages of also of this particular system. Another question that might strike us is that what about the conjunct letters? So the code for a conjunct letter was decided by only the last syllable, the one which was connected with the vowel of the word. For example, if you talk about the word Shraddha, now Shraddha means it is sh, r, and a, and then it is the, and a. So if we consider Shraddha, then the first letter shra, it stands only for 2, as r stands for 2 in Katapayati. And if you go for the next one, that is dha, then in that case you can see that the letter dha stands for 9, and therefore dha also stands for 9. So then the question arises, so does Shraddha mean 29? The answer is of course no, it stands for 92 because we have to read from right to left. Now, due to this particular rule for conjunct consonants, both kaya, that is body, and kartsnya, that word you might be knowing of course from Bhagavad Gita, stand for 11. If you just go through a book called Sadratna Mala that is credited to mathematician Shankar Varman, then you find the following line in that book. Bhadrama buddhi siddha janma ganita shraddha sma yad upagihi. And if you try to translate that, it is some kind of prayer, something like that. Now the question arises, is this what actually the author is trying to say? Now, if I apply Katapayadi system, however when one applies the Katapayadi system, then we get the following number. 4, 2, 3, 9, 7, 8, etc., etc. All these, because Bha means 4, Dra means 2, Bu means 3, and so on. Now, this number is somehow, I don't find that number interesting. What is the role of this number in mathematics? But again, if I recall that, I have to read from right to left and not the way it is written Bhadrama. Then I will start reading from the right hand side, 3, 1, 4, 1, 5, something like that. And then I will realize that, oh, this number or this sentence, whatever is written, is not just a general sentence. It is actually giving you the value of pi correct for several digits. So after 3, if I just decide, okay, I have to add that decimal point over there, then 3.14159.265 and so on, you can see that the value of pi correct up to several number of decimals. And then the same system, you will find that it was followed by Madhava. He was one of the greatest mathematicians India has produced. And it might be astonishing to know that, surprising to note that the calculus, which usually is is credited to Newton and Leibniz, but even before they were born, around 200 centuries before they were born, Madhava had developed some mathematics. I will not go into detail of that, but some mathematics he had developed, which means to develop that you need calculus. Otherwise, you cannot develop that kind of mathematics. So it was very clear, it is clear that Madhava had enough knowledge of calculus. And then here also is actually whatever the chart is there in front of you, it is actually the values of sine values that Madhava is giving over there for various angles. And then on the right hand side, extreme right hand side, you can find the difference between the value given by Madhava and the value now we accept in our modern sense, let us say, or using modern technology, whatever value that we have found out. And you can see that the difference is almost negligibly small. Then we talk about Aryabhatasya Aryabhatiyah Grantha. When we start going through this, we find some very strange word like Kyugru or Dhung Vigva or Dishivrun Lirkshru. I'm finding it difficult to pronounce. And you are not going to find these words in any dictionary as such. What do we mean by Kyugru? Or if you just proceed that way, Then maybe somewhere you are finding Buddha, Bhruga, Guju. Okay, fine, they make some sense. But then again in the last line, you can see some Dwa, Yakhi, Sa, Lya, Kicha, Mandocham, and so on. If you go through what Aryabhatta has done in trigonometry, then you find something like this: Makhi, Baki, Phaki, Dhaki, Naki, Yaki, and so on. So what does these words mean? Or they are just some kind of meaningless words. Like some people say that if we go through some kind of rituals, then there are some words like Vashat, Vaushat, and so on. But some people say that they don't have any meaning as such. I'll not go into that. But is it something like that? The answer is no. If you try to apply Katapayadi, again, you are not going to get any meaningfulness over there, because Aryabhatta had his own system or own coding over there. So what was the coding? If you just see the class consonants, K to K, K, G, G, up to M, and then if you talk about the remaining consonants like Yara, Lava, Sh, Sh, S, H, then those were the codes for all these numbers. So you can clearly see the distinction between Katapayadi system and the system of Aryabhatta. Moreover, Aryabhatta had also some kind of coding, let us say, for your vowels also. So when we are using A or A, it stands for 1, E or E, it stands for 100, and so on and so forth. That is how the coding was there. And now the question arises, that is, okay, fine, we are getting all these numbers over here, but whatever that Chugru or Makhi, Bhaki, whatever we have read just now, how to decode that? So for decoding that, the rule of Aryabhatta was something like this. When a vowel was joined to a consonant, the number corresponding to that letter would be equal to the code number for the consonant multiplied by the code number for the vowel. So we usually have, a vowel, consonant followed by vowel, that kind of structure is there. And similarly, if you talk about conjunct consonant, similarly, if a vowel was joined to a conjunct consonant, then the number corresponding to that letter would be equal to the addition of all the code numbers for the consonants multiplied by the code number for the vowel. Now, once these rules are clearly understood, we can easily get the value of such kind of word like Chugru. So the Q is a conjunct consonant, and we have got K and here two different consonants are there. So you can see I'm adding them kind of, and then I'm multiplying by U. And then Gru, that is that's not conjunct. So I'm just considering G multiplied by Ru. And then if I add this, I get a number which is 43,20,000. Similarly, if you go for Dhum Vigva, we can easily decode this and we can understand what number is suggested by Aryabhatta. And same thing you can find over here also. As I said, that you will find this Makhi, Baki, Phaki, everything written by Aryabhatta, where he is talking about sign values. So we are aware of sine, theta, cos, theta, something we have done in 9th or 10th standard. So the trigonometry, as we say. So in that context, he is giving all these words over there, and they stands for 225, 224, 222, 219, and so on. These are the values, some values related to sine, of, and some angle. So that is how one can decode, and we can understand what Aryabhatta is actually trying to say. But then one can clearly see that whether you are seeing or whether you are reading a text in which Katapayadi system is used, or maybe if you are reading some text written by Aryabhatta, then all these words, they are not beautiful words. Okay, there means there is no beauty as such. So if we go through all this, maybe some thorny ways or something like that, and finally when you reach Bhaskaracharya's Lilavati, it feels like we have entered a beautiful garden blooming with fruits and flowers. I'm sure everybody knows this famous line about Shakuntala, written by Mahakavi Kalidas, Kavyeshu Natakam Ramyam Tatra Ramya Shakuntala. On the same line, I can say that Shastreshu Ganitam Ramyam Tatra Ramya Lilavati. Now, I don't know how many of you will agree with me about I'm saying that Ganitam is Ramyam, but for me, as of course, if you consider all sciences, then mathematics is the most beautiful science. And if I go through all the texts that are written on mathematics, I feel that Lilavati is the most beautiful text. Because what we find over there, that there is excellence of language Bhaskaracharya has exhibited. You can see so many alankaras as we see. So for example, in these 2-3 verses that I have chosen from Lilavati, one can see very nicely Anupras has been used. See the last one, Leela Galal Lulallo. So that Lala is appearing number of times. In the second one, you can find Gudhama Mudhanam. In the first one, you can find Vatsa Vetsi. So nicely Bhaskaracharya has written. So you really feel like you really fall into love of Leelavati. Now, in Leelavati, what we find, there is a separate system. Bhaskaracharya has, of course, it was not developed by Bhaskaracharya as such, but it is neither Katapayadi system nor the one that is given by Aryabhatta. It is something different. So what is that different? To understand this, almost the initial shlok in Leelavati.
Hello, Salil sir. थोड़ा अटकता गया.
Okay. So what we find over there, in the first one, you find that this is where he is talking about himself, that Rasaguna Purna Mahi Samashaka, whatever it is. So he is talking about something like I was born somewhere in that, and then I created the Siddhanta Shiromani on this age and so on. But then once again, that whatever Rasaguna Purna Rasaguna is not clear. So for that, we need to understand the third system that is called as Bhuta Sankhya Lekhan. Now in Bhuta Sankhya Lekhan, what happens is that Bhuta doesn't mean the ghost as we may feel. It means the living or non-living objects around us. Now several objects around us are almost always in certain numbers. For example, there is only one moon, and so the Sanskrit words for the moon like Indu or Chandra were used to represent the number 1. So that is how Bhuta Sankhya Lekhan was there. And I can just give you the idea that these were some of the popular, let us say, codes for different numbers. And then if we apply that Bhuta Sankhya Lekhan over here, then what Bhaskaracharya is writing about himself becomes very clear, that he is saying that he was born in 1036 Shaki, and then that Siddhanta Shiromani Grantha was created by him when he was 36. And then if you will go through the various let us say the verses in Leelavati or maybe in Bijagani, at several places you will find that Bhuta Sankhya Lekhan has been nicely exploited. And if you are able to decode that, then one gets the real flair of Leelavati as well as Bijagani. Okay. So because there is time constraint, I'm extremely sorry that I have to stop this. And okay, I'll stop here. In case anybody wants to connect with me for anything about this particular topic, you can of course reach me on salilsavarkar@gmail.com. And I think I will stop over here. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Salil Savarkarji. I think in this session, both the papers were very interesting. One was chemistry and Sanskrit together, and other is mathematics and Sanskrit together. I knew Dr. Savarkar as a great, good mathematician, but this side I'm learning for the first time. So thank you, both the speakers, for such enlightening papers. And Dr. Wagh, the experiments you conducted with the help of your colleagues from other departments, those are commendable. And
Yes.
Indian knowledge system is in need of this drushti, I will say, because drushti cannot be translated in any other language, as I understand. That might be my limitation, but that is the richness of our culture and our languages. So thank you for bringing in this collaboration of two disciplines which are otherwise considered as two different watertight compartments. Like science is like chemistry and mathematics need not study Sanskrit, and bringing this together is something like it has given an amazing outcome, and that shows the painstaking efforts which you have put in by collaborating two sciences. So I thank you for such insights, and I think this is going to open new paths for studies in Indian knowledge systems. So thank you. I think it's 4 o'clock and we are actually.
Thank you so much, sir, for your comments, valuable comments.
Thank you, sir. आपने यहाँ पर मेरी विनती के अनुसार रुके और चेयरमैनशिप को एक्सेप्ट किया, उसके लिए धन्यवाद। और थोड़ी सी मिसअंडरस्टैंडिंग हुई उसके लिए क्षमस्व।
नहीं मैडम, थैंक यू। यूनिवर्सिटी ऑफ मुंबई ग्लोबल संस्कृत फोरम, शकुंतला जी, आप, माधवी जी, आपने हमें बुलाया, एंड लाइक आई रिमेन ग्रेटफुल टू द डिपार्टमेंट एंड द ऑर्गेनाइजर्स।
धन्यवाद।
Thanks a lot for
धन्यवाद।
this. This was really enlightening. Thank you. So, can we declare the session closed?
हाँ, मैथिली।
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, Dr. Pandit, and also Bala Sahib sir and Salil sir for presenting such wonderful papers and increasing our knowledge. I request Ajay Pense sir to take over the charge and please do the needful. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, Maithili madam. Tazana madam.
आहे मसराम सर आलेत का? जॉईन झालेत? मसराम सर नमस्कार, आहात का? अजून
सरांना
जॉईन
सांगितलं
व्हायचे.
जॉईन व्हायला.
झालेले
मी
दिसत
मी
नाही.
फोन करून परत त्यांना सांगते. हा,
हा,
2च मिनिटं.
He joining. Just let us wait for him.
मैथिली आउट झालीस का तू?
No, ma'am, I'm here.
हा, मसराम सर आलेत की लक्ष ठेव. हा,
Ha, sir.
ते जॉईन होत आहेत म्हणून त्यांनी मला सांगितलंय.
ओके. अजय, मसराम सर जॉईन झाल्याबरोबर सुरू कर हा.
हो मॅडम.
पाँच से 7 मिनट हमें रुकना पड़ेगा क्योंकि चीफ गेस्ट जो है वो अभी ज्वाइन होने वाले हैं. तो तब तक मैं चाहूंगी कि यहाँ पर जो उपस्थित है उनमें से कोई एक अपना विचार प्रदर्शन करे कि इस सेमिनार के बारे में, चर्चा सत्र के बारे में, कि आपको क्या लगता है. कोई बोलना चाहेगा तो अनम्यूट करके बोल सकता है जब तक सर ना आ जाए. ओके. शायद किसी को भी बोलना इच्छित नहीं है. मैं ही बोल देती हूँ. यह जो प्रोग्राम है जो ग्लोबल संस्कृत फोरम के साथ में ऑर्गेनाइज किया गया है, तो ग्लोबल संस्कृत फोरम को हमने अप्रोच किया और उन्होंने तुरंत यह एक्सेप्ट कर लिया कि हाँ हम कर सकते हैं. और उस आधार पर यह भारतीय ज्ञान परंपरा की जो एक चर्चा सत्र की मुहिम थी, या एक नदी बहने वाली थी, तो वो नदी ग्लोबल संस्कृत फोरम के कारण अच्छे से प्रवाहित हो सकी है और अभी तक वह अपने पड़ाव तक पहुंचने ही वाली है. आज उसके पड़ाव का यह अंतिम सत्र है जिसमें यह यात्रा हमारी यहाँ पर खत्म होती है. हालांकि यह चर्चा सत्र की यात्रा खत्म होती है क्योंकि ग्लोबल के साथ में हमारे संबंध आगे भी बढ़ते रहेंगे, ऐसी हम आशा करते हैं. और ग्लोबल संस्कृत फोरम को भी हमारे साथ में काम करके अच्छा लगा होगा, ऐसे हम आशा करते हैं, ताकि उन्हें भी आगे चलकर फिर से हमारे साथ कोई एक चर्चा सत्र होगा या कोई भी वक्तव्य होगा तो वो रखने की मनीषा कर सकते हैं. तो राजेश जी जो है उन्होंने जैसे ही मैंने बोला कि हमारा ऐसा ऐसा प्लान है और हमें करना है, तो उन्होंने तुरंत हामी भर दी और सभी जो बातें हैं, यानी टेक्निकल जो भी ये सहूलियत चाहिए थी वो उन्होंने हमें पूरी तरह से प्राप्त करा कर दी है. हमारे केवल वक्तागण थे और 2-4 दिन में ही हमारी यह पूरी IKS की जो यात्रा थी वह चल रही थी. ऐसा मैं यहाँ पर प्रस्तुत करना चाहती हूँ. शायद मुझे लगता है मसराम सर आ गए हैं. नमस्कार सर, आलेला आहात आपण. मसराम सर.
यस मॅडम.
ओके, धन्यवाद सर आपण आलेला आहात त्याबद्दल. अजय, आपण कार्यक्रमाला सुरुवात करूया सर.
जी मैडम जी।
हाँ, तो राकेश जी अपने वैलिडिक्टरी फंक्शन के चीफ गेस्ट भी मसराम सर आ गए हैं, तो हम अभी प्रोग्राम को शुरू कर देते हैं. अजय सुरू करू शकतोस.
धन्यवाद मैडम. Namo Namaha and good afternoon, everyone. With great respect and immense joy, I welcome you all to the valedictory session of the two-day virtual international conference on Sanskrit, the backbone of Indian knowledge system, jointly organized by the Department of Sanskrit, University of Mumbai, and the Global Sanskrit Forum, Maharashtra Pranta. We are deeply honored to have the constant guidance and blessings of our esteemed patrons, Professor Ravindra Kulkarni, Honorable Vice Chancellor of the University of Mumbai, Dr. Ajay Bhamre sir, Honorable Pro Vice Chancellor of the University of Mumbai, and Dr. Manjusha Kulkarni, President of Global Sanskrit Forum, Maharashtra Pranta. It is our privilege to welcome our guest of honor, Dr. Mridul Kirti, eminent scholar from Australia, and our distinguished speaker, Dr. Prakash Masram sir, in charge director of Center of Extramural Studies, University of Mumbai. To begin with, may I request Dr. Suchitra Tajne madam, head and associate professor, Department of Sanskrit, to kindly deliver the welcome address. Over to you, madam.
नमो नमः. आवाज आ रही है बराबर से?
Yes, madam.
Okay. Namo Namaha. Respected chief guest, Dr. Prakash Masram, guest of honor, Miss Mridula Kirti, eminent scholar from Australia, distinguished invitees, colleagues, research scholars, and dear participants and students. It is indeed a privilege for me, as the head of the Department of Sanskrit, University of Mumbai, to welcome you all on the second day of our two-day virtual international conference on Sanskrit, the backbone of the Indian knowledge system, jointly organized by the Department of Sanskrit, University of Mumbai, and the Global Sanskrit Forum, Maharashtra Pranta. I would like to share with you a brief recap of day one. Yesterday's inaugural session set the perfect tone of our deliberation. Honorable Vice Chancellor Professor Ravindra Kulkarni, in his inaugural address, strongly recommended research in the Indian knowledge system with Sanskrit as the central focus. He reminded us that true research in IKS requires the right connect with Sanskrit, referring to the Honorable Prime Minister recent remarks on the digitizing manuscripts. Professor Kulkarni highlighted that Mumbai University has recently launched a carbon dating facility that can determine the age of manuscript and archaeological specimen ranging from 1,000 years up to 50,000 years. Dr. Manjusha Kulkarni, President of the Global Sanskrit Forum, emphasizes on using social media, online platforms, and digital tools to extend the global reach of Sanskrit. She pointed out the need for more online Sanskrit dictionaries for Indian languages. Our guest of honor, Ms. Alexandra Lokman from Ukraine, shared a fascinating account of the development of Sanskrit studies in Ukraine since 1829. She spoke about the translation of the Vedas and the Bhagavad Gita into Ukrainian and explained how Sanskrit studies, once suppressed, were revived after Ukraine's independence in 1991. The keynote address delivered Dr. Ravikant Sangude described Sanskrit Sanskrit as the key to unlocking the vast treasure of the Indian knowledge system. He suggested that Sanskrit can truly become a vibrant, living language through community engagement and online learning. Finally, in the three technical sessions that followed all over the globe, a large number of research scholars presented their papers on varied themes, ranging from Sanskrit in philosophy, literature, poetics, and education to its role in cultural continuity and multidisciplinary research. The discussions were rich and inspiring, showing the vitality of Sanskrit in the present era. On second day, we had equally thought-provoking sessions. Session 1, Dr. Varsha Kelkar Mani presented Ayurveda and Bio-E3 policy of India, connecting traditional wisdom with contemporary policy. Dr. Asavari Bapat spoke on the concept of espionage in Kautilya Arthashastra, highlighting the sophistication of Indian political science. The Shakuntala Gaude shed light on ancient research methodology, reminding us of India's scholarly traditions. Session 2, Medhali May discuss geometry in Shilpa Sutra, demonstrating mathematical brilliance in altar constructions. Ms. Bhagyashree Baurev presented ancient nakshatra stories beautifully, combining astronomy with cultural and religious aspects. Session 3, Mr. Balasaheb Wagh shared insights into the copper-based water purification system, validating ancient practices through modern sciences. Sorry. Mr. Salil Savalkar explored Sankhya Darshan in Indian mathematics. Sorry. Mr. Balasaheb Wagh shared insights into the copper-based water purification system, validating ancient practices through modern sciences. Mr. Salil Savarkar explored Sankhya Darshan in Indian mathematics, showing the philosophical depth underlying Indian mathematical thought. We are truly privileged to conclude this conference in the esteemed presence of our chief guest, Dr. Prakash Masram, whose vision and scholarship continue to inspire. We are also deeply honored to have our chief guest of honor, Ms. Mrudula Kirti from Australia, an eminent scholar whose international perspective adds immense value to our deliberation. Thank you. On behalf of the Department of Sanskrit, University of Mumbai, I extend a heartfelt welcome and deep gratitude to both of you. Your presence today has elevated this valedictory ceremony and has given great encouragement to all of us. I also thank our Vice Chancellor, Honorable Pro Vice Chancellor, Honorable Vice Chancellor, the organization team, paper presenters, my department colleagues, and my non-teaching staff, and Global Forum Sanskrit Pranta, Maharashtra Pranta team, and all participants for making this event a grand success. Let us carry forward the insights and collaboration we experienced here and continue to keep Sanskrit alive as the backbone of the Indian knowledge system. Thank you. Over to you, Ajay.
Thank you, madam. Thank you, madam, for the overview of the conference. Now I request Dr. Madhavi Narsai, madam, Professor, Department of Sanskrit, University of Mumbai, to introduce the chief guest of valedictory function, Dr. Prakash Masram, sir. Over to you, Madhavi, madam.
Namo Namaha. Friends, it is my privilege to introduce Dr. Prakash Masram, sir, who is the Associate Professor and former Head of the Department of History, University of Mumbai. At the present, he is the in charge director for the Center for Extramural Studies and also the Deputy Director of the Center for Excellence in Tribal Studies and Research. He is a specialist. His area of specialization is tribal studies, and this subject is a very upcoming subject in the present times, and especially in the case of Indian knowledge systems. The knowledge which the tribals have with them, which has gone down from series of years through lot of experience, which is still not documented, needs to be documented for the betterment of the Indian society. And Dr. Prakash Masram sir is playing a very important role in it. He has a teaching experience of 14 years, and his specialization is Indian history, Gandhian studies, tribal studies, and culture, etc. He is on the Board of Studies of History and Archaeology as the Honorable Vice Chancellor nominee at Vasai College, Mumbai, which is autonomous, as well as Birla College, Kalyan, which is again autonomous. He is the Vice Chancellor's nominee for the Standing Committee for the Mumbai. He has actually formulated, or you can say designed, two papers on tribal history called the History of Tribal Art and Literature and History of Tribes in Colonial India. And they have been introduced at the postgraduate level. So this is a lot for the other colleges who have joined from other universities to emulate and pick up these subjects. Then he has edited 5 books and has published more than 10 research papers in international UGC listed journals and number of articles in many research books. He has completed one minor research project on tribal art. He has organized state, national, and international seminars and conferences as a convener of tribal studies. He has also been invited as a resource person at the UGC, at the ICHR, at the ICSSR sponsored state, national, and international seminars. He is also the invited resource person for various refresher courses and orientation study programs held by the Human Resource Development course in India. And one, I would say that he had a very enlightening lecture when we had organized a refresher course on Indian knowledge systems just 2 years back. And he gave a very great overview of what is exactly tribal art. He is the PhD guide of the University of Mumbai and is guiding 4 students. 2 students have been awarded MPhil degree, and he's also the external referee for PhD thesis, and he's engaged in several other academic and administrative responsibilities and endeavors of the University of Mumbai and also the government of Maharashtra. So yesterday when I had given him a call, he said that he is busy with the minister of the government of Maharashtra discussing about how tribal studies can be taken ahead. And then he had a meeting with the Honorable Vice Chancellor, briefing him of what happened in this meeting. He has been instrumental in getting almost a grant of 70 to 80 crores for the Center for Excellence in Tribal Studies, University of Mumbai. So we have got such an excellent personality as the chief guest of the seminar, and not taking much time between you and sir, I request him to begin his address. Over to you, Masram sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. First of all, good evening to all. And I congratulate to all the organizer, head of the department, Professor Dr. Tajne Madam, Dr. Shakuntala Gowde Madam, Professor Madhavi Madam, for organizing such a grand success seminar. Because from yesterday to up till now, you have arranged the very thoughtful sessions, and justify the topic of the seminar. Definitely, I am not expert, in the Sanskrit language, but since the topic is IKS, so I would like to definitely discuss with the tribal knowledge system that is a part of the IKS. Mean to say, up till now, the tribal knowledge system, TKS, that is called. We can call TKS, not yet, discovered or, discussed on the academic arena. So it is completely neglected, untold, unsung topic in our academic discourse. So definitely when we talk about the Indian knowledge system, so it is an attempt at recovering the Indian knowledge, including literature, including all the languages, as all classical languages, all mother tongues, arts, craft, traditions, and other forms that has been lost due to the international transfer or transition phase. But right now, in the Rashtriya education policy that is called NAP 2020, definitely we all aware about that, which aim to integrate the Indian knowledge system curricula into the curricula or mainstream academic discourse at all educational levels, right from schooling level to up till now, and it is made it possible. So we all aware about that. The purpose of the this IKS to aware or to promote the IKS or to raise the student pride in their Indian heritage and the history while eradicating any traces of slavery left by the Western educational system. So we need to discuss about the decolonizing theory, and we need to also focus on the Indianness, Bharatiyatva, Bharatiya thoughts. That is very important because if you look at the being a history student, if you look at the architecture structure in South India, right from ancient India to medieval India, various kind of the temples, various kind of the monument. If you look at, you will find the very fine and fantastic architecture structures. So which indicate that how our Indian knowledge system, very developed, very modernized. But in due course of time or due to the advent of the British rule, Britishers, they emphasize their structure, their policy, their rules, and that's why somehow, our Indian knowledge system, our traditions completely lost in that kind of the transition phase. So now it is a time of our, we introduce our knowledge to our upcoming generation, and through which our curricula or our syllabus, that is very important. If you look at that, the Janjati people, the Adivasi people, they had having or they have been practicing their Indian knowledge system, or they have been contributing a lot in the Indian heritage, in the Indian cultural systems, and so on. So if you look at the terminology or epistemology of the tribal community or Janjati community, so they had having the various kind of the names, for example, in your ancient Sanskrit literature, if you look at the ancient Sanskrit literature, so इनमें हमें दिखाई देते हैं कि the Janjati community, known as the various names like Nishad, Shabar, Bhil, Kol, Kirat, Das, Dasu, this kind of the Poya, Koitur, these are kind of the names identify in the ancient Sanskrit literatures. Even in Mahabharata and Ramayana and Ved and Puranas, also having lot of experience, lot of information about the Janjati community. Because in Mahabharata, if you look at the Mahabharata very minorly, you will get the information about the Pulit Janjati community, which contributed a lot as a soldier, as a we can say civilized community in the ancient period. and also they were the part of our culture, our traditions, our various kind of the we can say heritage. If you look at the Harappa and Mohenjo-daro, so definitely because for example in the Gond community right now since ancient period residing in the central India, so they were and they are the famous for their paintings, for their culture, for their art. So definitely while discovering the Harappa and Indus Valley civilization, उसे हम सिंधु सभ्यता कहते हैं, तो most of the archaeologists found the various pictography, and right now various pictography of the Janjati Gond community or Warli community are very much similar. So that's why they describe the pictography through which they generated the various kind of the knowledge. Because it is said that if one picture can say 1,000 words. So through the pictures, through the pictography, they represented their various kind of the aspect of life. If it is you consider the social life, economical life, cultural life, agriculture life, the entire life depicted through the pictures. You know that ki Warli community in the Konkan Prant, very famous for their painting, and that painting very much famous worldwide level. So the Padma Shri Jivaswamy Mashe, who contributed a lot. Not only that, but when we look at the historicity of the paintings of Janjati community, so you will definitely find the one of the very major aspect where the tribal women who contributed for developing or pioneering such a kind of the paintings. Not only paintings, but also agriculture system, family system, or family structures, or we can say uh, political structures where they contributed a lot, or they initiated such a kind of the system in the tribal community. Mean to say, when we talk about the gender equality or feminism, so feminism right now we discussed that discourse in 1917 and 1980s decades in our academic arena or in the worldview scenario, but that feminism or we can say the gender equality was and is the part of their life. Because right now we have kind of the same-sex, so that itself indicated that in terms of the gender ratio, in terms of their equality, so right now Janjati community gender ratio is very high to other community. Mean to say, in terms of the knowledge about the feminism thoughts, or we can say स्त्री पुरुष समानता जिसकी बात हम करते हैं, तो उसमें हमें उनका एक हाई जेंडर रेशियो दिखाई देता है. Even in Gond Janjati community or in Jharkhand, in Madhya Pradesh, in central India, where right now when we talk about जैसे कि शादी विवाह होती है, वधू वर जैसे आते हैं, तो till today जैसे कि in general जैसे हम we can say कि वधू और वर ये होते हैं, ब्राइड और ब्राइड ग्रूम होते हैं, तो जैसे कि मेन स्ट्रीम में ये कहा जाता है कि Minto say very much respect given to work family or boys family, but when we talk about at the same time about the Janjati community, it is a practical experience, because being a community member I have a practical experience about that कि इफ इट इज सपोज जैसे कि वधू है या गर्ल्स फैमिली है, उनके पास में समझो शादी करने की कैपेसिटी नहीं है, या उनको शादी करना है मगर वो कर नहीं पाते हैं, तो जनजाति के लोग उनको उनका जो वर फैमिली या बॉयज के फैमिली होते हैं, तो वो सारा खाना, सारे चीज, कपड़े वगैरह वो साथ में लेके आते हैं, चूंकि वो सारा चीजें उनको दे सके और उनका सम्मान बढ़ा सके। तो इसमें ये कहा जाता है, ये इट इज अ पार्ट ऑफ आवर नॉलेज सिस्टम कि आज भी जनजाति कम्युनिटी में यानी फीमेल का जो रिस्पेक्ट होता है वो आज भी हमें उतना तरीका एक हाई लेवल का हमें दिखाई देता है। तो बिकॉज ऑफ यू नो एवरी काइंड ऑफ रिस्पेक्ट गिवन टू द फैमिली। जैसे हम वारली कम्युनिटी में जब when we talk about the Warli community, so widow marriage permitted since ancient period to up till now in the Janjati community, whatever Janjati community, if you talk about 45 main major tribal community residing in Maharashtra, in which one of the Warli community is very important community. So widow marriage permitted, but in case एखादी widow समझो उसको अकॉर्डिंग टू देयर लाइफ पार्टनर उनको नहीं मिला, तो उनको विडो पर्सन को धौलरी ये कंसेप्ट दी जाती है। और जैसे कि हम एक अलग तौर अलग एक समाज में देखते हैं या विलेज लेवल में देखते हैं, तो थोड़ा सा आज भी वी क्लेम दैट कि आवर सोसाइटी इज वेरी सोफिस्टिकेटेड एंड वेरी एजुकेटेड, बट स्टिल कुछ विलेज लेवल में आज भी विडो पर्सन को थोड़ा सा एक अलग दृष्टिकोण से देखा जाता है। मगर इन टर्म्स ऑफ वारली कम्युनिटी एंड ऑल द जनजाति कम्युनिटी टिल टुडे द विडो पर्सन रिस्पेक्टेड अ लॉट। तो वारली कम्युनिटी उसको धौलरी कहा जाता है, और शी कंट्रीब्यूटेड अ लॉट, शी पार्टिसिपेट इन द डिसीजन मेकिंग इन टर्म्स ऑफ social related issue, economical related issue, political related issue, all kind of the practices of their family life. She actively participate, and all the community granted, because their motto is that, or we can say their life philosophy is that कि they are because I am because they are, यानी मैं क्यों हूँ, तो मैं समुदाय या मेरे समाज के माध्यम से हूँ, तो मेरा जो अस्तित्व है, what is my identity, because of my community. So that kind of the Ubuntu kind of concept, you will also definitely find the philosophy of the Ubuntu कि I am because they are. तो ये Ubuntu concept आज भी हमें जनजाति के समाज में अलग अलग प्रकार के दिखाए। जैसे कि मध्य प्रदेश में अलग अलग प्रकार की जनजाति है, जैसे गोंड जनजाति है, तो मध्य प्रदेश में हलमा नाम की एक प्रथा है। इट इज वी कैन से पार्ट ऑफ द नॉलेज सिस्टम ऑफ इंडिजिनियस कम्युनिटी और जनजाति कम्युनिटी। तो हलमा के अंदर जैसे कि इकोनॉमिकल जो एक्टिविटी चलती है, कल्चरल एग्रीकल्चर एक्टिविटी या कल्टीवेशन होता है, तो उसमें सारा समाज, सारा समुदाय वो हलमा के तौर पर वो उसका जो भी कल्टीवेशन है, एग्रीकल्चर वर्क है या हस्बेंड्री वर्क है, वो सारा समाज जाके पूरा कंप्लीट करता है ताकि वो अकेला महसूस ना हो सके। तो दैट काइंड ऑफ द हलमा सिस्टम which is very unique and very outstanding in the Janjati community. So we need to also discuss about that कि and हम जैसे modernity की बात करते हैं कि modernity mean to say what, modernity क्या है, यानी ये modernity हमें ऐसे जनजाति community में दिखाई, जैसे कि फेमिनिज्म का एक अच्छा डेवलपमेंट है, इट इज अ पार्ट एंड पार्सल ऑफ देयर कम्युनिटी। जैसे कि हमारे आर्कोलॉजिस्ट श्रीधर वाकनकर जी ने 1955 और 58 के बीच में हमारे भीमबेटका का उन्होंने डिस्कवर किया। तो he concluded that that kind of the paintings, engrave on the caves, which belong to, I mean to say, Mesolithic period, and also which belong to the Warli and the Gond Janjati community. So it is a, conclusion, given by famous archaeologist B.S. Wakankarji. And that's why we need to also, look at the contribution of the Janjati community in terms of the painting, in terms of the arts, in terms of the, we can say, medicine also, because there are a lot of examples, in ancient literature. For example, Eklavya, that Eklavya, who belonged to the Bhil community, very famous, very expert in archery, and experts, the Janjati community also expert in medicine. So how it is, through the Janjati community expert in medicine. So there is a lot of example found in the historical data. For example, in medieval period, the great Alexander, who decided to win the all world, उन्होंने एक जीत का एक मंशा उन्होंने अपनी रखी थी. और जब वो मध्य प्रांत में आए थे तो अलग अलग, जैसे कि मैंने इतिहास बताता है, जब जब आक्रमणकारियों का या इन्वेडर्स का इन्विजन हुआ है, तब तब सीमांत प्रांत पे जनजाति लोगों ने उनका आक्रमण, यानी आक्रमणकारियों को फेस किया, यानी दे फाउट वेरी ब्रेवली. ये इतिहास है, और उनके प्रमाण हमें अलग अलग प्रकार के ऐतिहासिक दस्तावेज में हमें मिलते हैं. तो इस हिसाब से मैं जस्ट आई एम गिविंग द एग्जांपल कि जैसे मध्य प्रांत में आता है तो तक्षक नाम के जनजाति ने अपने आर्चरी से उनको एक गिराया था. ही वाज वाउंडेड, और उसके वजह से ही गॉट पैरालाइज, उनको पैरालाइज हुआ था. तक्षक नाम के जनजाति कम्युनिटी, तक्षक मिंटू से दे वे द नागवंशी, यानी उनका टोटेम स्नेक था, नाग था, यानी टोटेम इट इज अ सिंबल ऑफ फैमिली. ये भी हमें, जब हम जनजाति की बात करते हैं तो उनके टोटेम सिस्टम होती है. टोटेम मिंटू से सिंबल ऑफ फैमिली, and which represent the various kind of the, we can say, the articles or elements of the nature. That these are elements of the nature belong to the totem of Janjati community. तो तक्षक नाम के जनजाति कम्युनिटी ने उनको वाउंडेड किया, और बिकॉज ऑफ दैट वो पॉइजनियस आर्चरी के एक्सपर्ट के वजह से ही गॉट पैरालाइज. और इतना पैरालाइज हुआ कि उसको लगा कि अभी मेरी जी कुछ इच्छा है दुनिया को जीतना, वो सारा अभी फेल हो गया है. तो that kind of the bravery shown by the Janjati community that time. Not only that, they were also, as I told ki, they were also expert, they are expert in the medicine. Much फेमस, जैसे कि हम जनजाति कम्युनिटी किसको कहते हैं कि दे आर वेरी मच शाय, दे आर वेरी मच ऑनेस्ट, दे आर वेरी मच, वी कैन से, वचन को पालने वाले, जान जाए पर वचन न जाए, ऐसे मानने वाले जनजाति समुदाय होता है. तो जब उनको उनके जो कंपेनियन थे या जो कुछ उनके एसोसिएट लोग थे, उन्होंने उनको पता चला कि मध्य प्रांत में एक पुलिन नाम की कम्युनिटी है, दे वेर वेरी मच एक्सपर्ट इन द मेडिसिन एंड मेडिसिनल प्रैक्टिस. तो उन्होंने उनको आग्रह किया, उनको रिक्वेस्ट किया, हम्बली रिक्वेस्ट किया कि प्लीज काइंडली उनको ट्रीटमेंट कीजिए, उनको उनका जो कुछ एंटीडोट उनको कीजिए. So as I told कि they are very much, they were very much honest and very much, we can say, simple and helpful and humble, kindness. तो पुलिन नाम के जनजाति कम्युनिटी में मध्य प्रांत के अलेक्जेंडर का एंटीडोट किया, और अलेक्जेंडर completely क्योर फ्रॉम दिस काइंड ऑफ द पॉइजनियस बान के वजह से वो जो हुआ था. तो उसके साथ बाद में इतिहास में अलेक्जेंडर द पुलिन, ये पुनर्जीवित होने का दूसरा नाम हमें इतिहास में आता है। तो दिस काइंड ऑफ द expertise you will definitely find in जनजाति कम्युनिटी, कि वो जनजाति कम्युनिटी के हम कभी भी ये मान सकते कि वो एक्सपर्ट थे। नॉट ओनली एक्सपर्ट दे, हम उनको एक अलग अलग प्रकार की जो कुछ मेडिसिन है उसको खोज करता, वो पायनियर उनको माने जा सकते हैं। तो ऐसा एक अनुमान हमें अलग अलग प्रकार की जनजाति कम्युनिटी में मिलता है। जैसे कि आप सब समझ सकते हैं कि 12th सेंचुरी में इंग्लैंड और ब्रिटिश लोग एक ग्रामीण परिवेश में एक रहते थे या हुआ करते थे, पर एट द सेम टाइम इफ यू लुक एट द जनजाति कम्युनिटी इन भारत, तो आपको उनको जैसे कि 1000 साल चलने वाला जो लोहा है उसका उत्पाद करनारी आगरिया नाम की जनजाति कम्युनिटी में हमें मध्य प्रांत में या झारखंड या बिहार एरिया में दिखाई देती है। तो उसका यदि आपको सही मायने में पता करना है कि हाउ इट इज पॉसिबल, तो दिल्ली में मोहरुली स्तंभ लेख है, वो आयन से बना हुआ है। उस पर आगरिया कम्युनिटी का नाम और उनका जो कुछ कंट्रीब्यूशन है वो हमें मोहरुली स्तंभ लेख में, आयन स्तंभ लेख में पिलर में दिखाई देता है। तो इससे हमें पता चलता है कि जब ब्रिटिश ये 12वीं शताब्दी में ग्रामीण परिवेश में था, तब हमारी जनजाति कम्युनिटी हजारों साल शुद्ध ऐसे लोहे का उसका यूज कैसे करते हैं, उसका ज्ञान, उसका ज्ञान परंपरा वो उनको पता था। एंड विच oral knowledge tradition then transferred from one generation to next generation। क्योंकि हमारे अर्थशास्त्र की जैसे कि द कौटिल्य और चाणक्य जिनको हम कहते हैं, तो अर्थशास्त्र में कौटिल्य जी ने भी एक लिखा है कि जैसे चंद्रगुप्त मौर्य ने धनानंद का पराभव किया, he defeated to the Dhanananda। So in that time, so there was help taken from we can say some kind of the जनजाति कम्युनिटी, उसका नाम मैं थोड़ा भूल गया हूँ। हाँ, आठविक गणराज्य थे, आठविक। So they very much famous in the archery, and they had having their own horses and elephants। So it is said that ki Kautilya suggested to the Chandragupta Maurya कि प्लीज आप इनका हेल्प लो। तो आप सही में जो धनानंद के बारे में हम यदि वी कैन से हमको उनको जीतना है, उसको पराभूत करना है, तो आठवीं गणराज्य का आपको हेल्प लेना जरूरी है, क्योंकि उनके पास में हॉर्सेस ने हत्ती एलिफेंट्स है, और आर्चरी में दे वर वेरी मच एक्सपर्ट। तो उन्होंने उनका हेल्प लिया। तो हमें समुद्रगुप्त के वाराणसी अभिलेख में आठवीं गणराज्यों का उल्लेख हमें मिलता है। तो इससे हमें प्रमाण चलता है कि हाउ द जनजाति कम्युनिटी एक्सपर्ट इन आर्चरी एंड युद्ध कला में कैसे वो निपुण थे, इसका हमें प्रमाण इस समुद्रगुप्त के वाराणसी अभिलेख के माध्यम से हमें पता चलता है। ऐसे सारे बहुत अनगिनत ऐसे कंट्रीब्यूशन है, उनकी ज्ञान परंपरा है, जो हमें वी कैन से who contributed a lot our Indian knowledge system। तो इसके बारे में भी हमें जानना जरूरी है, ऐसा मुझे लगता है। क्योंकि जीएस घुर्वे जी ने एक सॉरी आपने सोशोलॉजिस्ट थे हमारे हेड ऑफ द डिपार्टमेंट, या डेफिनेटली जीएस घुर्वे, who argue that the Janjati community, they were the part of the mainstream society, and they contributed a lot for the making of civilized society, and that's why he developed the integration kind of the theory for the tribal development. That was the book, The Scheduled Tribes of India, which was composed by G.S. Ghurve, our famous head of the Department Sociology, University of Mumbai. So many kind of the knowledge they generated from one generation to next generation, and from because they granted and they respected a lot in their life for the two elements. First is their ancestor, and second is nature, because they said that nature is everything in their life. All the elements like sun, moon, plant, trees, all kind of the elements. So because of that, their survival, because of that they grow, because of that they develop. So that's why they granted the nature everything for their life, supernatural, things in their life. At the same time, they granted their ancestors, because ancestor generated the knowledge or transferred that knowledge to one generation to next generation. Knowledge about agriculture, knowledge about their totem, knowledge about their, we can say, culture, knowledge about their practice, knowledge about their customs, their knowledge about their traditions. Because of that, they granted their ancestor as their god. So there are two things they very much respected in their life. So we need to discuss that way ki how they granted their ancestor as their god, as their goddess, kind of the things. Minto say, when we talk about transformation of the oral traditions in terms of culture, in terms of society, in terms of economy. For example, we can say the tattoo. Tattoo, it is a kind of their patent, kind of their invention. That time, since ancient period to up till now, tattoo, we can say वो गोंदना उसको हम कहते हैं, जो अलग अलग जनजाति में फेमस है. तो वो फेस्टिवल के टाइम में, रिलीजियस फेस्टिवल के टाइम में, और दूसरा उनका पर्पस था प्रोटेक्शन पर्पस, प्रोटेक्शन फ्रॉम वाइल्ड एनिमल्स, प्रोटेक्शन फॉर एनी सोशल इविल. सो दे गोंदना वो करते थे, टैटू वो किया करते थे, और अलग अलग प्रकार के टैटू और उसके सब्जेक्ट रिप्रेजेंटेशन भी अलग अलग प्रकार के होते थे. जैसे कि एनिमल्स है, बर्ड्स है, वो प्लांट्स है, नेचर के सब एलिमेंट्स आपको उनके टैटू में एक एज अ सब्जेक्ट रिप्रेजेंटेशन उसमें दिखाई देता था. तो right now in the Bollywood industries, Hollywood industries, the tattoo is very famous. But in terms of Indian knowledge system, so tribal or Janjati community contributed or initiated such a kind of the knowledge from one generation to next generation. और उनकी विवाह पद्धति आपको मैंने बताया था कि in which the girl family very much respected in terms of we can say शादी ब्याह करना है तो उनको एक अच्छा रिस्पेक्ट उनको दिया जाता है, अभी भी दिया जाता है. हमारे कम्युनिटी में भी, गोंड जनजाति कम्युनिटी में भी अभी भी दिया जाता है. मैंने तो अभी फिलहाल में आपको एग्जांपल दिया. तो so many kind of the element where they contribute a lot. Not only contributed in society, culture, and paintings and arts, also they contributed in political scenario. For example, in medieval India, you must have heard about the name of Rani Durgavati Madavi. She belonged to the Gond dynasty, and 52 गढ़ों का राज्य उन्होंने अकबर के काल में निर्माण किया था. And how famous architecture development done by under her leadership, water management, agriculture systems, also as Devi Ahilyabai Holkar, done for the women empowerment, such a kind of the, empowerment related things also developed by Rani Durgavati Madavi during the Akbar period. Into say 1526 to 1565 up till 1565 वो पीरियड उनका एक मध्य प्रांत में जैसे कि अभी जबलपुर है, गढ़ामंडला है, या up to the we can say some kind of the districts having the 52 गढ़ों का राज्य उन्होंने निर्माण किया था. एंड आर्किटेक्चर आज भी उसके रिमेन्स हमें दिखाई देते हैं. वेरी फैबुलस एंड वेरी famous architecture developed in the name of like Gadi, palace, Gad, forts, such a kind of the architecture developed during that period. So mean to say Gond Janjati also developed their civilized society, they developed their empire, their kingdom, and along with they also implement the various welfare schemes for all the common people in terms of water management, agriculture system, festivals, fairs, and if it is any kind of the famine or flood-like system, they subsidize all kind of the things. They provided the all assistance to all the kind of the community. So in this way, most of the time, a Janjati community contributed a lot, social, culture, economical angle, agriculture, political systems, traditions, customs, arts, architectures, ये सारे क्षेत्र में जनजाति कम्युनिटी में प्राचीन काल से लेके आज तक उन्होंने एक अच्छा अपना योगदान दिया है. बट यानी खेद की बात यह है कि अभी तक वो एकेडमिक प्रैक्टिस में नहीं आ रहा है. बट राइट नाउ राष्ट्रीय शिक्षा नीति 2020 के यानी माध्यम से यह इंडियन नेस और इंडियन कंट्रीब्यूशन और जनजाति का कंट्रीब्यूशन हमें यानी इस माध्यम से हमें देखने को मिल रहा है, या हम जानने लगे हैं, क्योंकि कितने सारे जनजाति लोगों ने अपने जान निछावर किए, तो उसका इतिहास यानी नहीं लिखा गया. तो आज और उनका जो कुछ ज्ञान परंपरा है उसको नहीं लिखा गया है. तो अभी राष्ट्रीय शिक्षा नीति के माध्यम से आज वो अनडिस्कवर्ड, अनटोल्ड, अनसंग नॉलेज अभी एकेडमिक एरिना में डिस्कस होते जा रहा है. तो ये एक सेटिस्फैक्शन है और एक खुशी की बात है. आई एम वेरी मच हैप्पी कि नाउ जनजाति का जो भी योगदान है अलग अलग क्षेत्र में वो अभी एकेडमिक डिस्कोर्स में आ रहा है. तो उसको और समय लगेगा. इट इज अ काइंड ऑफ द प्रोसेस. तो हो जाएगा. तो आई थिंक विद दिस वर्ड आई विल स्टॉप हियर. So once again, I am very much thankful to organizer, all Professor Dr. Tajne ma'am, Madhavi ma'am, Gaude madam, for inviting me and giving me opportunity to discuss my view along with you all. Thank you very much. And over to Madhavi ma'am. Madam.
Over to Ajay sir for further proceedings.
Thank you, sir, for your scholarly and enriching address. Now I request Dr. Rajesh Mishra, sir, Secretary of Global Sanskrit Forum, to introduce our guest of honor, Dr. Mridul Kirti, madam. Over to you, sir.
धन्यवाद आदरणीय सर. और आदरणीय मैम हमारे बीच में उपस्थित हैं. वर्तमान में आप अमेरिका से जुड़ी हुई हैं. आपका जो निवास है वह ऑस्ट्रेलिया है. और आदरणीय मैम मेरी आवाज सुन पा रहे हो? मैं आपको सर्वप्रथम प्रणाम करता हूं करबद्ध होकर. हार्दिक स्वागत अभिनंदन करता हूं आज के समापन सत्र में जुड़ने के लिए, अपना कीमती और बहुमूल्य समय देने के लिए. आप सबको बता दूं, आदरणीय डॉक्टर मृदुल कीर्ति मैम एक स्वतंत्र लेखिका हैं और इनके बारे में बस 2 ही 3 मैं बात बताऊंगा, उसी से आप समझ जाएंगे इन्होंने योग भाष्य के ऊपर, ब्रह्मसूत्र के ऊपर, तमाम ऐसे दार्शनिक ग्रंथ हैं, भगवत गीता के ऊपर बहुत सारे लेखन कार्य किए हैं। आदरणीय मैम के लेखन कार्य के ऊपर अभी शोध के लिए बहुत सारे छात्रों ने अप्लाई भी किया है रिसर्च करने के लिए। और आदरणीय मैम के पुस्तक को माननीय प्राइम मिनिस्टर जी जब ऑस्ट्रेलिया गए थे, सिडनी गए थे, तो आदरणीय मैम के पुस्तक का विमोचन किया था। उनके साथ इनके छायाचित्र भी हैं जो मेरे पास उपलब्ध हैं। ऐसे भारत की तमाम बड़ी हस्तियों के कर कमलों द्वारा आदरणीय मैम के लिखित ग्रंथ प्रकाशित हैं, अनगिनत सम्मानों से सम्मानित हैं, वह भारतीय स्तर पर हो या अन्य विदेशी स्तर पर। अभी अभी मैंने आदरणीय मैम को आमंत्रित किया था यहाँ द्वितीय वैश्विक विदुषी सम्मेलन जो 21-22 मार्च को दिल्ली विश्वविद्यालय के प्रांगण में हुआ था। वहां भी ग्लोबल संस्कृत फोरम परिवार विदुषी समूह परिवार ने आदरणीय मैम को अंतरराष्ट्रीय विदुषी सम्मान से भी सम्मानित किया था। तो सम्मान के क्षेत्र में देखें, लेखन के क्षेत्र में देखें या वक्तव्य के क्षेत्र में देखें, तो आदरणीय मैम की जो योगदान है वह अद्वितीय है। भारतीय जो ऋषि मुनियों द्वारा लिखित ग्रंथ हैं, उन ग्रंथों का हिंदी में अनुवाद, हिंदी कविता के माध्यम से अनुवाद आदि कार्यों में निरंतर आप संलग्न हैं। आज हम ऐसे मैम को पाकर यहाँ धन्य हैं। आप ग्लोबल संस्कृत फोरम की एक तरह से रिप्रेजेंटेटिव, एक तरह से संरक्षिका, और ऑस्ट्रेलिया में ग्लोबल संस्कृत फोरम को आगे पहुंचाने में आप सदैव निरंतर मदद करती रहती हैं, मार्गदर्शन करती रहती हैं। आज हम सब आदरणीय मैम को यहाँ प्राप्त करके धन्य हैं। मैं मैम को आमंत्रित करता हूँ। अजय जी। अजय जी।
Yes, sir. Now I request Dr. Mrudul Kirti madam to kindly enlighten us with her thoughts. Thank you. Over to you, ma'am.
ओम। सभी यहाँ उपस्थित सभी प्रबुद्ध श्रोताओं को नमन, वंदन और स्तवन करती हूँ। इतना उच्च स्तरीय मंच पाकर अभिभूत भी हूँ और स्वयं को गौरवान्वित भी अनुभव कर रही हूँ, और साथ ही साथ आप लोगों के विचारों से समृद्ध भी होती जा रही हूँ। पुनः पुनः धन्यवाद देती हूँ। और मेरे कामों की जहाँ तक अभी मिश्र जी ने बताया, मेरा कुछ भी नहीं है, क्योंकि मैं माटी की किंकरी जो बूंद पड़े गल जात, और माटी की गुणधर्मिता मेरी कौन बिसात। मेरा कुछ भी नहीं है, जो कुछ भी है केवल उस ईश्वरी सत्ता का दिया हुआ है। इस ज्ञान परंपरा के अनंतर अगर मैं एक छोटा सा विवरण देना चाहूं, क्षमा करिएगा, एक छोटा सा संक्षिप्त विवरण अगर दूं, तो मुझे नहीं लगता है कि गृहस्थ में रहकर और जीवन की सारी उत्तरदायित्व कर्तव्यों का संवहन करते हुए अपनी मानसिक संचेतना को इतनी उत्कृष्ट स्तर पर ईश्वर ले आए, जहां से मैं 18 महाग्रंथों का काव्य अनुवाद कर सकी। तो उस परम सत्ता को ही प्रणाम है। लेकिन हाँ, इस समाज में रहकर और यहाँ की जो हमारी जो जिन संस्कृति को हम अपनी शिराओं में लेकर जन्म लेते, संस्कृति एक दिन की नहीं है, कई जन्मों से, प्रारब्ध से, परिवेश से, माँ के गर्भ से संस्कार और संस्कृति हम स्वतः ही लेकर आते हैं। और जो हम भाषा बोलते हैं वो भाषा व्यक्तायामवाची भाषा वो है जिसे हम बोलकर व्यक्त करते हैं, लेकिन उस भाषा में वहाँ के संस्कार, सभ्यता, संस्कृति तीनों अपने आप समाहित होते हैं, जिसे हम अनजाने ही ग्रहण करते हैं। तो हमारी भारतीय संचेतना में जब हम चाहे हम ग्रंथों को पढ़ें या ना पढ़ें, चाहे हम ग्रंथों के विषय में जाने या ना जाने, लेकिन अगर भारत में जन्म लेते हैं तो भारतीयता हमारी शिराओं में ही बहने लगती है। तो उन अर्थों में हम कहीं ना कहीं से आद्योपांत अपनी भारतीयता, अपनी संस्कृति, अपनी सभ्यता, अपने संस्कार, अपने परिवेश, अपने पेड़ पौधे, जलवायु, बातें, एक एक बिंदु से हम कहीं ना कहीं से संस्कारित होते रहते हैं। उन्हीं सब का समीकरण अगर हम निचोड़ कर देखें तो, और हमारा कभी मौका मिले, हमें सुअवसर मिले और हमारे अंदर एक चाह तो छोटी चीज है, अभिप्सा हो। अभिप्सा हमेशा उत्कृष्ट चीज के लिए होती। कभी अभिप्सा हो कि मैं इन ग्रंथों को जानूं या पढूं जो हमारी गंगोत्री है ज्ञान की, और जहां से हमारी संस्कृति का उद्भव हुआ है, जो बोले गए हैं ऋषि जन्य ग्रंथों को। तो अगर कभी अभिप्सा होती है, कोई पढ़ता है, तो फिर उसे संस्कृत की, क्योंकि आज प्रचलित नहीं है यह भाषा, पीछे रह जाते हैं, जैसे एक प्यास रह जाती है। तो कहाँ से ईश्वर ने एक मुझे संचेतना दी, ये 18 महाग्रंथों का मूल संस्कृत से हिंदी काव्य में उसको समाज तक लाई। उसकी अगर बताएं ग्रंथों के नाम, तो सबसे पहले मैंने सामवेद का अनुवाद किया, इसमें 1875 मंत्र हैं। उसके बाद 9 उपनिषदों का, ईश, केन, कठ, प्रश्न, मुंडक, मांड्यूक, ऐत्री, तैतरी, श्वेताश्वर। भगवद गीता, अष्टावक्र गीता, पातंजलि योग दर्शन, सांख्य योग दर्शन, विवेक चूड़ामणि, आत्मबोध, अपरोक्षानुभूति, अथर्ववेद का प्राण सूक्त, और बहुत बहुत सारे। इसका उतनी उसमें ना जाकर अगर मैं सार और संक्षेप रूप में ये बताती हूँ तो ये ऋषिजन्य ग्रंथों के उनकी संस्कृत, उनकी संचेतना, उनकी भावना, उनका जो व्यक्तिकरण, उसमें जाने के लिए हमें भी उस अपनी मानसिक चेतना को उस स्तर तक ले जाना पड़ता है। तो अगर और गहराई में अगर जाए तो विभूति पाद में, जब आप पातंजलि योग दर्शन के विभूति पाद में आते हैं, उस चरण में आपको एक प्रक्रिया भी मिलेगी जिसमें दूसरे की देह में प्रवेश करने की भी ज्ञान, कला और इतनी ऊंचाइयां हैं कि हम दूसरे की देह में प्रवेश भी कर सकते हैं। तो देह प्रवेश जो होता है वो ये भौतिक रूप में नहीं होता, वो उसकी चेतना और वो उनकी वैचारिक ऊर्जा में स्वयं का सामंजस्य मिलाना ही दूसरे के शरीर में प्रवेश करने के समान होता है। अनुवाद करते समय मुझे भी उस ऋषि चेतना का समानांतर चिंतन करना पड़ा। उनकी चिंतन में स्वयं का प्रवेश एक बहुत क्लिष्ट और ईश्वरी कृपा का स्वरूप था। फिर उनकी भावनाओं को अपने में उतारना और उतार के उस भाषा से हमारी हिंदी में लाना, और उसके बाद जो छंद है, छंदों की नियमावली है, व्याकरण की नियमावली है, उसमें एक फ्रेम है, उसमें फिट करना, और एक भी मात्रा का घटना या बढ़ना वहां स्वीकार्य नहीं होता। तो इतने सारे नियमों का संवहन करते हुए इन ग्रंथों का काव्य अनुवाद किया। समाज ने इसको बहुत मान और मान्यता दी, और आज आप जैसे प्रबुद्ध लोगों के आगे भी, जो एक तरह से आप लोग संवाहक हैं ज्ञान के, उनके सामने एक प्रस्तुत करने का साहस कर पा रही हूँ, और आप लोग भी मुझे मान और मान्यता दे रहे हैं, उसके लिए बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। इतनी लंबी बात करने के बाद मैं ये चाहूंगी कि मैं 1-2 अनुवादों को उनको प्रसाद कर्ण रूप में देती चलूं। औपनिषदीय स्तर पे अगर आते हैं तो ईशावास्य उपनिषद का एक पहला ही मंत्र या पहला यही सुनाते हैं कि पूर्णता से शुरू होता है उनका जो शांति मंत्र है, ओम पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। कब तक ये यंत्रवत मंत्रवत कहते रहेंगे जब तक हम उसको प्रचलित भाषा में नहीं लाएंगे। अनुवाद सुनिए इसको हरिगीत का छंद में। परिपूर्ण पूर्ण है, परिपूर्ण पूर्ण है पूर्ण प्रभु, यह जगत भी प्रभु पूर्ण है। परिपूर्ण प्रभु की पूर्णता से पूर्ण जग संपूर्ण है। उस पूर्णता से पूर्ण घटकर पूर्णता ही शेष है। परिपूर्ण प्रभु परमेश की यह पूर्णता ही विशेष है। ईशावास्यमिदं सर्वं यत्किंचित् जगत्यां जगत्तेन त्यक्तेन भूता माग्रदाकस्य सिद्धनं। ईश्वर बसा अणुकण में है, ईश्वर बसा अणुकण में है, ब्रह्मांड में व नगण्य में, सृष्टि सकल जड़ चेतना जग सब समाया अगम्य में। भोगो भोगो जगत निष्काम वृत्ति से त्यक्त तेन प्रवृत्ति हो। यह धन किसी का भी नहीं, अथलेश न आसक्ति हो। गीता पर आई है। यदा यदा ही धर्म से सबको प्रचलित है ये। तो यदा यदा ही धर्म से ग्लानिर्भवति भारत अभ्युत्थानम अधर्मस्य, ये सबको प्रचलित है, इसलिए अनुवाद ही सुनाती हूँ। इसको सुनिए ब्रज भाषा में। भगवत गीता ब्रज भाषा में की है। सांख्य योग दर्शन और विवेक चूड़ामणि और पातंजलि योग दर्शन अवधि में किया है। और यह भी जो अनुवाद मैंने आपको सुनाया ये खड़ी बोली में। यदा यदा ही का सुनिए। जब धर्म धरा पे नसावती हैं, जब धर्म धरा पे नसावती हैं, अधर्म पांव पसावती हैं, तब धरनी धर तन धारे धरा पे धर्म को आन बचावती। यहाँ पर जो लावण्य है वो विशेष द्रष्टव्य होना चाहिए। यहाँ धा शब्द 8 बार आया है इस अनुवाद में। धा हमारी वर्णमाला का जो हमारा दर्शन है उसमें धा कठोर है। ता था एक कोमल होता है, एक कठोर है। ता कोमल है, था कठोर है, दा कोमल है, धा कठोर है। और धा कठोर है वो भी यहाँ 8 बार आया है। लेकिन पुनः सुनाती हूँ, उसका लावण्य सुनिए। जब धर्म धरा पे नसावती हैं, अधर्म पांव पसावती हैं, तब धरनी धर तन धारे धरा पे धर्म को आन बचावती हैं। ये है सौंदर्य। दूसरी भाषा में लाने के लिए आपका व्याकरणीय सौंदर्य, आपका छंदों का सौंदर्य, और एक ऐसा काम करते समय एक बहुत बड़ी चेतावनी होती है कि हम अपना एक भी अपना भाव समाविष्ट नहीं कर सकते और एक भी उनका भाव छोड़ नहीं सकते। देखिए, आप ना हम छोड़ सकते हैं, ना हम अपना समाविष्ट कर सकते हैं। जस का तस लाना एक बहुत बड़ी चेतना होती है, जिसके लिए विवेक चूड़ामणि में शंकराचार्य ने भी कहा था कि जंतु नाम नरजन्म दुर्लभमता उन सत्तम ततो विप्रता तस्मात् द्वैतिक धर्म मार्ग पड़ता विद्वत स्मात् परम। आत्म अनात्म विवेचनम, इस तरह करके अंत में जो है श्लोक का अर्थ ये है कि सैकड़ों जन्म के बाद भी अध्यात्म काव्य रचित करना हजारों जन्मों के बाद भी संभव नहीं होता। तो उसकी ये गरिमा को बताता है उनका ये मंत्र। विवेक चूड़ामणि का पहला ही मंत्र है। विवेक चूड़ामणि का एक मुझे अनुवाद याद आ रहा है, लेकिन उसका मूल मंत्र में थोड़ा भूल रही हूँ। लेकिन सुनिए, अनुवाद बहुत सुंदर है कि रत शरीर पोषण मगर, रत शरीर पोषण मगर आत्म तत्व की चाह, तो पार करत नद पकड़ जस काष्ठ बुद्धि से ग्रहा। यहाँ इतने प्रबुद्ध हमारे श्रोता और इतने प्रबुद्ध जो वहाँ ऑनलाइन भी नहीं है, वो भी सुन रहे होंगे कहाँ से। तो यहाँ मैं ये आप लोगों से करती हूँ कि फिर बोलती हूँ इसको कि रत शरीर पोषण मगर, शंकराचार्य मनुष्यों से कह रहे हैं कि तुम शरीर पोषण में लगे हो। रत शरीर पोषण मगर आत्म तत्व की चाह, पार करत नद पकड़ जैसे काष्ठ बुद्धि से ग्राह। तो देखिए, अनुवाद का सौंदर्य लाने के लिए मैं इसको विस्तार में ले जा रही। अब यहाँ काष्ठ बुद्धि मैंने इन्वर्टेड कॉमा में रखा है। क्यों रखा है? क्योंकि अब अभी हम आप लोगों से भी कहें तो काष्ठ बुद्धि जल्दी समझ में नहीं आएगी, तो यहाँ मैं इसको थोड़ा सा व्याख्यायित करती हूँ। शरीर पोषण में लगे हो लेकिन चाहते हो कि मुझे मोक्ष मिले, तो वो उसी तरह है कि जैसे तुम नदी तो पार कर रहे हो और भवसागर है, ये भवसागर है, उसको पार कर रहे हो तो डूबते 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 एक सहारा दिखता है कि कुछ लकड़ी सी जा रही है, उसको जाकर पकड़ लेते हो और उसको लकड़ी के सहारे किनारे आ गए। जैसे किनारे आए और होश आया, जैसे ही आपको होश आता है तो पहले तो जीवन रक्षा में होता है, ये आपको ये इसको अपने जीवन में आरोपित करके करिए। पहले अगर कहीं डूब रहे हैं तो पहले रक्षा में ये नहीं देखा जाता, वो चलो वो किनारे ले जाएगा, किनारे आ गए, जब प्राण बचे देखा अरे ये क्या था, ये तो जिसको काष्ठ बुद्धि अर्थात जिसको मैं लकड़ी समझ के आया था वो तो मगरमच्छ है। काष्ठ बुद्धि से ग्राह पार करत नद पकड़ जस काष्ठ बुद्धि से ग्रह, ये है सौंदर्य अनुवाद का। तो इस तरह इस चीज को मैं इस ऐसे क्लिष्ट विषयों को सरल सरस रूप में लेकर आई। इसी के संदर्भ में एक अनुवाद और सुनाकर मैं अपनी वाणी को विराम दूंगी। क्योंकि सांख्य योग दर्शन का अनुवाद किया अवधी भाषा में, पतंजलि योग दर्शन का अनुवाद किया अवधी भाषा में रामायण की तरह। सांख्य योग में देखिए अनीश्वरवाद, वहां ईश्वर नहीं है, लेकिन पतंजलि योग में तस्य वाचका प्रणवा ईश्वर है। सांख्य योग में चित्त नहीं है, महत है, मन है, बुद्धि है, चित्त कहीं नहीं है। और योगश चित्त वृत्ति निरोधा से ही आरंभ होता है पतंजलि योग दर्शन। तो दोनों के ये जो दो पक्ष का, एक का हटना एक का आना, प्राथमिकता से आना, इसका भी आजकल समीकरण में बहुत गहराई से कर रही हूँ। यहाँ एक अनुवाद सुनते चलिए, योग चित्त वृत्ति निरोधा, इसके 4 टुकड़े करिए, योग चित्त वृत्ति और निरोध। इसको चारों को 4 चौपाई के चरण में मैं लाई हूं, योग चित्त वृत्ति निरोध। ये दोहे चौपाई में किया है, तो सुनिए कि जेहि पल थमहि चित्त चंचलता, चित्त वृत्ति सकल चपलता, मन संयम अरुचित्त निरोधा, तिनहि योग रित सत्य प्रबोधा। यहाँ अब रित के बाद मैंने कॉमा लगाया। कॉमा क्यों लगाया है? क्योंकि योग जो है तहां, फिर सुनिए, जेहि पल थमहि चित्त चंचलता, चित्त वृत्तियन सकल चपलता, मन संयम अरुचित्त निरोधा, तिनहि योग रित सत्य प्रबोधा। रित कहाँ पे? रित के बाद कॉमा का मेरा अर्थ क्या है कि जब योग जहां से उतरा था मूल केंद्र से, तब वो रित था। जब सत्य को रित भी कहते हैं, रित और सत्य का एक ही, आप वेदों में जाइए तो हर जगह आपको रित और सत्य और रित जो है मिला हुआ मिलता है। क्यों है? उसका कारण है कि जब रित अपनी मूल भूमा से उतरा था, जब रित, ध्यान दीजिए, जब रित भूमा से उतरा था, जैसे गंगोत्री गंगा से उतरती है और हमारे पास आते आते वो उतनी शुद्ध नहीं रहती, तो वो रित जो है हम तक आते आते सत्य हो जाता है। यजुर्वेद का मंत्र सुनिए, ओम ऋतंच सत्यंच, ऋतंच देखिए, ऋतंच सत्यंचाभि, ओम ऋतंच सत्यंचाभि ध्याते वसुधो जायतः, ततो रात्र जायत ततः समुद्रार्णवादधि संवत्सरो अजायतः, अहोरात्राणि विविधश्च मिस्तो वसी सूर्या चंद्रमसौ धाता, यथा पूर्वमकल्पयत् दिवंच पृथ्वी चांतरक्षमतः। आप देखिए, रित तो सत्य वहां साथ आया था। मेरे अनुवाद की विधा में भी वही रित मैंने कहा, तिनहि योग रित, जो रित है वो योग जो है वो रित जब तुम तक आता है, जब तुम प्रबोध की प्रक्रिया में आते हो तो वो सत्य हो जाता है। तो अनुवाद में भी यही कहा कि जही पल थमहि चित्त चंचलता, चित्त वृत्ति अन सकल चपलता, मन संयम अरुचित्त निरोधा, तिनहि योग ऋत सत्य प्रबोधा। ऐसे बहुत विस्तार से कहाँ तक जाएंगे, 10,000 मंत्रों का अनुवाद मैं अब तक कर चुकी हूँ और बहुत ग्रंथों का, इसलिए मैं अपनी वाणी को विराम देती हूँ। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद।
Thank you, madam. Thank you very much for your scholarly guidance. Now, I would like to invite remarks from the participants about how the conference went. We would be glad to hear your feedback and reflections. Only couple of replies. Only couple of remarks. Is
Hello.
there anyone?
Hello. Can you hear me, sir?
Hello. Yes.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, yes.
I'm from Kerala, the God's of country. This Global Circus Forum has been conducted this webinar through the Mumbai University. Is a great one, and it will ever stand as an eye opener for the research like me, and stands instrumental always. And we expect more and more fruitful such occasions or webinars or whatever it may be, are from global global Sanskrit forum. Thank you. Thanks a lot. Namaste for everybody.
Thank you. Thank you for your valuable remark. Now I invite Dr. Shakuntala Gavde, Madam, Associate Professor, Department of Sanskrit, University of Mumbai, to propose a vote of thanks. Over to you, Madam.
Namo Namaha. It is my profound privilege to extend a vote of thanks on the occasion of valedictory session of the 2-day virtual international conference on Sanskrit, the backbone of Indian knowledge systems. At the outset, I extend our heartfelt gratitude to Dr. Prakash Masram for delivering the valedictory address and enriching the session with his valuable insights. Sir, your speech has highlighted the significant practices of the tribal community to Indian knowledge systems. We are deeply grateful to you. I extend my sincere thanks to our guest of honor, Dr. Mrudul Kirti, for her gracious presence and for sharing her thoughtful perspectives on the subject. Madam, your inspiring journey in the field of translation stands as a true source of motivation for us. We are deeply grateful to you for sharing your insights. I also take this opportunity to express deep appreciation to all our respected chairpersons, Dr. Siddharth Wakankar, Dr. Suraj Pandit, Dr. Yogesh Bhargav, Dr. Namrata Jagtap, Ms. Swati Bhalerao, Madam, Dr. Swati Dravid. Our heartfelt thanks are due to the distinguished speakers, Dr. Varsha Kelkar Mane, Dr. Asavari Bapat, Dr. Bhagyashri Bavre, Shri Balasaheb Wagh, and Shri Salil Savarkar for their scholarly contributions and engaging deliberations. We are equally grateful to all the paper presenters for their enthusiastic participation and academic inputs. We remain ever thankful to our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor Ravindra Kulkarni, sir, and Pro Vice Chancellor, Professor Ajay Bhamre, sir, for their constant encouragement and support. A special word of thanks goes to Professor Rajesh Mishra ji, General Secretary of the Global Sanskrit Forum, for his valuable collaboration and support in making this conference successful. I also gratefully acknowledge the tireless efforts of our teaching and non-teaching staff whose dedication ensured the smooth conduct of this conference. Finally, our deepest gratitude goes to all the participants and attendees for their enthusiastic response and active involvement, which greatly contributed to the success of this international conference. So thank you all. Namaste.